When it came to landing a job in tech, I've never had difficulty. I've been making really good money ever since I was just in college. I've always been able to get interviews for a few reasons, but one of the main differentiators between me and other candidates was my personal website. I can't tell you how many interviews I got just because of my personal website. Like, I literally remember applying to hundreds of different positions, and the companies that called me back and talked to me on the phone, they'd mention my personal website. So it was a surprise to me to learn how many different programmers are applying to jobs without having a personal website. I mean, we learned how to code, right? But we can't spend a little bit of time coding a website. Building a personal website or just a developer portfolio in general can help you showcase previous work and even your personality. I believe that every developer needs a website. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the process of building said website and then deploying it. I'm also going to talk about how you could host the site, whether it's for free or whether it's paid. And when we talk about paid hosting, I am going to mention the sponsor of this video, which is Hostinger. Now, I'm going to talk about Hostinger later in the video, but they are doing a huge Black Friday sale. And on top of that, if you click the link in the description or use code Nick White at checkout, you're going to get even further discounts. Okay, so there's a few different ways that we can build a website. The first way is to use a website builder. You may have used something like Squarespace or Wix or Weebly, and this is the easiest way to get a website up and running if you don't know how to code. So you would just go to one of these paid services, you pay, and then they have these nice user interfaces where you can drop different user interface components. You can drop text and buttons onto your web page and instantly publish them and see the live changes. And what's great is that these website builders have come a long way over the years, and they're actually pretty advanced as far as what you can do with customization. However, these are really great for small websites, maybe some small businesses. They do have e-commerce options, so you can set up like payment or just static websites, maybe a basic portfolio, maybe a basic personal website. But when it comes to adding a lot of functionality or customization, when it comes to like advanced detailing and the styles and functionality of the website, you're not going to want to use a website builder. Now, speaking of website builders, Hostinger, which is the sponsor of this video, actually has a great website builder that you guys can use if you're not ready to get into coding or other more technically advanced things. And you should definitely check it out compared to some of these other options, because these options are usually in the $12 to $25 range, whereas Hostinger right now is extremely cheap. If you go into the description and click the link, you're going to be able to get the website builder plus much more for only $199 a month, which is way cheaper. And that's even before you enter my discount code Nick White at checkout for an additional 10% off. Now, moving on to other ways of building the website, because most of you guys are probably programmers or have some programming knowledge or experience. So the next way that we could build a website is using CMS. And when we think of CMS, we're immediately going to think of WordPress. CMS stands for Content Management Systems, and WordPress is the most popular CMS in the world. With a quick Google search, we find out that WordPress is used by 43.2% of all websites on the internet. Now, there's different kinds of content management systems, and WordPress isn't your only and maybe not even the best option, but content management systems in general are great for websites that have a lot of content. CMS is a better option if you're creating large websites with multiple pages, or if you plan to make a lot of additional changes to your website down the line. CMS makes it easy to do a lot of things like edit pages, add an online store, or create web forms, and so forth. So if you're going to be modifying your website a ton and adding a lot of different content, modifying it a lot with different content, CMS is the way to go. Now, the way CMS works is you're going to be working with a content management application, a front end, where you're going to be able to edit the site with a website builder like user interface. So some aspects from those website builders. But you also can write code and add that additional functionality. So you're going to be able to do a lot with CMS that you can't do with a website builder. So if you have a content-based website, you're going to want to go with CMS. But if not, you could actually code the website from scratch. But before we move on, if you are interested in CMS or having a WordPress website because you have a lot of content on the site you want to create, then you should check out Hostinger, because Hostinger allows you to migrate or build a WordPress website and host it on their platform for the low price of $2 or $199 in this case. And if you use the code Nick White at checkout, you're going to get an even better discount. All right, and now for the third way to build a website, which is my favorite way because we all are programmers here, and that is to code the website from scratch. Now, you might have learned other programming languages like Python or Java, but you don't necessarily know web development. So I'm going to take you through a very quick web development tutorial. So at a basic level to build a website, you're just going to need three different things. You're going to need HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. You're going to be coding in a markup language. It's extremely easy to learn, and this is going to be the skeleton or the actual content of your website. No styles, no functionality, but actually just the content. For example, text or buttons or images. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and this is going to be all the styles for your website. So the text, the decorations, the font sizes, the font colors, the color, the background color, all of this stuff is coded in CSS, and you're gonna have full control over how your website looks using CSS. And then last but not least, we have JavaScript, which is more like your traditional programming language. We could do object-oriented programming. There's no classes, but it's a lot like Python or Java or something like that. JavaScript's going to come into play when you have things on your website that do things, right? So if you have a button that does something, when we click, we'll have JavaScript execute in the background. So a function will execute. Maybe it does something like alert. A little alert box will pop up saying, hello world. Anyways, I think we get the general idea for that. So all you'd want to do is just make three different files. One is going to be index.html, one's going to be app.css, one's going to be app.js. And these are those three languages respectively. So you need three files only to build a website. And if we open up those files, we get started coding immediately. If you're not familiar with HTML and CSS, you might want to go through a Code Academy tutorial or something like W3 Schools or Tutorials Point. Do a quick tutorial. You should be able to pick these up in about an hour. But basically, you just want to look up the template HTML code. This is how the standard HTML looks for every website. HTML is made up of tags, and everything's wrapped in the HTML tags, and then you have a head and a body. I'd consider the HTML the root of the website, and then it hooks up to your other files to add the styles, to add the functionality. If we look, we have some H1 tags, and that is a header tag. So I can put my name, and this will be a header on the website. If I were to simply open up my index.html now, we have just Nick White. If we wanted to add a button, and I said click me for the text of the button, we'd go back to the website, and we'd have click me. Notice how the button doesn't do anything. Now, if we wanted to add some styles to the website, we'd go into our CSS and we would target the H1 tag. So you would target a selector and add property value pairs. So we're going to do color red for the title. And if we go to our website and we refresh, it's obviously not going to be red because the CSS isn't hooked up to the HTML. So you actually have to hook the file app.css up to our HTML. That's going to be in the head. So right here, I have the link tag in the head, and you can see the link is app.css. So we go over here and we refresh, and now the colors and styles will take into effect. There's a million different styles you could add. So for example, if we just wanted to target the entire body of the website, which is basically the whole website, and we wanted to do background color, and then we wanted to do blue, we could go to our website, and then the background color is blue. So you can look up all the properties and values for CSS to figure out all the designs and things you can do by yourself. You can do animation, you can do all these crazy things, down to the very smallest detail. So that's why coding is great, because we have full control over every single thing on our website. Now, last but not least, we have JavaScript. So JavaScript, we actually can write code, like real code. So let's say alert button is a function that we're going to make. And then let's just call alert hello world. And now we would just have to link it, right? So if we go to our website and I click the button, it does nothing still. But if we link this, and with JavaScript, I'm usually going to add the link at the bottom because I still want the page to load with the content and styles, even if there's no functionality because something gets messed up. So I'm going to do script, and then we do source equals app.js. And there we go. It is linked up to our app.js. We go here, we click. However, this still isn't going to work even though we linked up the JavaScript file. And that is because we're not calling the function. So once we're linked up, we can actually use those functions from the JavaScript file. So we're going to do onClick equals, and we'll do quotes, and we will alert button. We'll call alert button. Now we go back, we click, and the function gets executed from JavaScript. We get hello world. So this is my crazy website that I built in a few seconds, just giving you guys kind of a demo. But now I'm going to show you guys how you can deploy this, whether it's to free hosting or to a paid hosting platform, and this would be your website. That's how easy it is to make a website. Of course, you'd want it to look a lot better than this, and I'm going to tell you how to do that as well, like get a website up and running really quickly using code. But I'm going to just show you how to host this. So there's two ways I'd recommend to host a website, one of which is through GitHub Pages, which basically you can make a repository, so a folder for your website on GitHub, and you're going to want to use your username.github.io. So you can see here, my username is white105.github.io. This is a personal website. And if I were to go to white105.github.io, this would be my website. And this is completely free hosting for static websites, basically. So if there's not a lot of functionality going on your website, GitHub will host your site for free. You make a repo. It's just going to take your index.html from when you commit the code, and it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty awesome. And if you really want to walk through this, all you do is like new folder, right? You would make a description, you'd make it public, you could add whatever. You'd create the repository. Now, you could follow along with these steps to use Git to push your code up. So the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you just push it up with Git. Or you can literally just import it. You click the import button and drop your code in. So the folder of files, the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, drop it in with the import button. Refresh, boom, your website is up and running, right? So just do user, you just have to name the folder username. So your username on GitHub.github.io. So white105.github.io or your username.github.io. So now this has limitations though, right? If you have a backend, if you have an API, if you have a database, if you have anything special going on your website at all, GitHub Pages isn't really going to work. So it really only works for static websites. And in that case, you're going to want to head over to get paid hosting, which there's a variety of options. However, one of the cheapest and one of the most high quality ones is the sponsor of today's video, which is Hostinger. And with Hostinger, guys, this is an amazing deal going on right now. Go into the description. It's $199 a month. This is amazing. Use my code NickWhite at checkout and you get even further discounts. And when you sign up for this premium hosting, you're also going to get a domain, which is expensive on its own. You're going to get a free email. You're going to get up to 100 websites. You're going to get a variety of features that are really valuable for $2 a month. So I made a new website yesterday with a free domain they gave me. This is nickwhiteyoutube.com. If we go to nickwhiteyoutube.com right now, we could see it's just random template code that I dumped into it. But I'm going to show you. This is the website I just made in front of you in a few minutes, and I'm going to dump this and show you how easy it is to get this up and running on nickwhiteyoutube.com. So here we are with my websites. I'm going to go over to manage nickwhiteyoutube.com. I'm going to go to file manager, and now we're in Hostinger's file manager. You can see public HTML, and this is all I have in here right now, just one HTML file. I'm going to delete this, and then there's going to be nothing going on my website. And then from here, it's super easy. You just go up here to this little upload button. I'm going to go to click folder because that's what we did, Nick's website. I'm going to upload this folder. So boom, website's uploaded. Now I do want to distinguish that you can't just dump the entire folder and then hope for it to work, right? The website's down right now, but you have to extract the files from this folder. So we're going to move the files one little step back. We're going to just move these, and then we're going to get rid of the folder. We don't even need the folder. And then boom, now we should be good to go. So you just want all of those files. I mean, you could just drag and drop all the files instead of the whole folder, but I just wanted to show you because I think some people might be confused about that. And now when we go to my website, you can see this is the website I built for you guys in just a few minutes. It's already up. I mean, that was instant. So nickwhiteyoutube.com, my website is already up. Now I will say it's extremely ugly. So how would we get a cool looking portfolio website up and running using code? Well, that's where you're going to want to go to Bootstrap templates, right? This is if you're short on time. If you just want to like get a bunch of template code to start with, you could easily just go over here. Look, so here's a website. We can launch for live preview. We can get a free download of it. And so we just downloaded this Bootstrap template, which took like 2 seconds. And I opened the HTML, and look, we have this whole static website that we could start with. And this comes with all of the code, right? So I could just dump this, all this code, into Hostinger. And let me show you once again how simple this is. So let's just go over these files. These are the ones we added for our website so far. I'm going to delete these so we have nothing on our website, and it's instant refresh every time. So if we go here, look, the website's gone now. Now let's just drag all of the stuff from our Bootstrap template we just downloaded, right? So this is the Bootstrap template. We can see we have the index.html in the right place. And if we go over to our website, there it is. It's instant refresh. This is live. You guys can go to this right now. So that's a whole template website we got up and running in just a few seconds. And now we could easily modify this website, right? I just pull it up in my text editor. We go over to index.html and we just start editing. So let's find Start Bootstrap and replace our name. So here's Start Bootstrap. We're gonna go down here. We could say Nick White's website. So here's Nick White's website. You could see this updating. We go over to our code. We're gonna see Start Bootstrap again. We'll say Nick White's website again. And we're already getting a portfolio up and running, right? I'd replace this picture with a picture of me. And so the last thing when it comes to coding a website I do want to mention is when you're editing the website on your local machine, that is not going to update on the official website automatically, right? So this is still the official website, Nick White's YouTube. It still says Start Bootstrap, even though I've been editing it. And this is on my local machine. This is the code. So what you're gonna wanna do is just make sure you have the updated version of each of these files in the public HTML on Hostinger. So this HTML is outdated, so what I'd wanna do is just delete it and re-add the updated HTML file. And so here's the updated file on our local machine. I drag it in. It's an instant update, so we go to our actual website, and there's Nick White's website being updated. Now, if you're comfortable with web development or just have knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then you probably don't even need Bootstrap. You could code this all from scratch. And when it comes to that, I highly recommend looking up some of the upcoming top coders in the industry, maybe consulting companies. Look at other people's portfolio websites. Get a feel for how people are designing their websites, what looks good, what user interface looks cool to you, and then start to code your own website. Not plagiarizing necessarily, but take inspiration from other people, maybe use aspects from other people's websites, and come up with your own cool personal website. And remember to go over to Hostinger because this Black Friday deal is only up for another 3 days, and it is crazy. $2 a month, guys. You don't want to miss out. And then there's an additional discount using my link and discount code at the end. So this is pretty cheap. You get a domain, you get an email at your domain, so you can get your own name.com, and then you can get your email at your domain.com, which is pretty awesome. And then it's so easy, right? You have the website builder, you have the WordPress, or you can code it yourself. You can do all these different types of websites all on Hostinger because they're that great. Now, the fourth and final way to build a website, which is pretty funny and I didn't really go over yet in this video, is you can hire a developer. Now, this is really for when you're on a time crunch and you have extra money. You're going to want to head over to Fiverr or Upwork and hire someone to build you a simple website. Prices will range based on the quality that you expect and the complications behind the website, but I'd imagine most of you guys are programmers and you are going to take the initiative to build your own website. Not only because you can, but because it's fun. But if you do want to hire a developer to build your website from a site like Fiverr or Upwork, those are the two websites I'd recommend using. But in all seriousness, I used to be a freelance developer, so if you are going to hire a developer to build your website, please be conscious of how much work people have to put in to actually build these sites. It's very difficult, especially if your website has a ton of functionality. So I would probably just let you know that the more function the website has, like complicated things that it needs to do, the more difficult for the developers, so be conscious of that. Either pay them more or be aware that it's going to take a long time. But vice versa, if the website is super simple, like it's static and it doesn't really do anything, but you just want it to look good, that's probably not going to be as difficult or time consuming, so don't get ripped off. So those are the 4 ways to make a website. If you don't know how to code, use a website builder. If you have a really large content-based website, then use CMS. If you want full control over the design and functionality of your website, then you're going to want to code it from scratch. And if you have a ton of money, if you have a budget and you don't feel like coding it, then go ahead and hire someone from Fiverr or Upwork. But if you're a programmer, and you probably are because you're watching this channel, I highly recommend coding the website yourself or doing some CMS because you can get good experience. You could showcase that you know what you're doing, and it's really important when it comes to applying for jobs. So if you're a programmer, go build your website right now. Get your portfolio up, put some stuff you've done in the past, throw your resume up there, showcase some projects you've done. You could actually embed the projects into the website if you spend some time, and then throw it up on Hostinger. You get the free domain, you get the email, $2 a month. I mean, I purchase all of this stuff. I use Hostinger. So it's really great. It's a Black Friday sale right now. Definitely check it out. I thank Hostinger for sponsoring this video. I hope you guys can build your websites. Please drop some links in my Discord when you're done so I can check them out, because maybe in the next video I will do a review of some of these websites. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Peace.